Just want to tell everybody a little bit about how I became a web developer in only 3 months. So what made me really want to start to get into learning to code on my own was I accidentally ran into the inspect element on Google Chrome, and I saw the inner HTML of the page that I was on. And I just decided, since I could see the blinking cursor, to change one of the words, and I saw it instantly changed on the web page. And from that moment, my curiosity was sparked, just wanted to learn more about it. I've always been kind of a do-it-yourselfer. I love anything DIY, anything that I can create from scratch. So I set out to learn these things on my own. I started with Googling a lot of things and just kind of getting really the concepts together, some of the terminology. And also I researched some career paths to see if this is something that I would be interested in. And I decided that it was, but I never really took it seriously until last year. I kind of did something sort of risky. I decided to put in my 2-week notice of my current place of employment. Although there was nothing really wrong with the job, I just knew that's not what I wanted to do. And if I was going to make a major career change, I had to really just jump into it if I was really going to make it work. What I actually tried first was just YouTube. So I went through some of the videos that I was able to find, but I found that they weren't really super helpful for me in the long run. Too many options and not really any one clear path that I could follow. And I'm really oriented around instructions, so I like to know 1, 2, 3, ABC, this is what to do. So having too many options overwhelmed me a bit, and I decided to try W3 Schools. It's an online resource for learning the basics of just about any major programming language that's out. I was following the steps for HTML and CSS, and I actually got pretty bored with it because you're really just reading a lot of these exercises, and it just didn't do much for me. Again, it's a really great resource, but I use it now very frequently for trying to remember certain basic functions that maybe, I don't use very often and I just need a refresher. But learning from scratch and learning how to use these things in a realistic setting, I didn't really get that from that site, me personally. So then I tried treehouse.com. I signed up for their pro membership. I think it was about $25 a month, where they give you full access to any course you want to do. They have an IDE where you can type in your code as you're watching the video of the instructor that's hosting. And I honestly don't know why it didn't work for me, but I was doing it for about 3 weeks and I started to lose interest again. And at this point, I was really close to just giving up on the entire thing because I had already spent a month trying these different things and nothing was really working out. So I was feeling like maybe this just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't that I wasn't understanding the concepts, but I just didn't have the drive or the passion that I did when I started. One last-ditch effort before I just decided to scrap all this and get another job doing customer service. I decided to try CodeCademy. I had used it previously, the free version, for just trying out some HTML, CSS here and there. I saw an advertisement for their Pro Intensive course. And the Pro Intensive course is basically, I'm not sure if this is the right term, but I would compare it to a boot camp. You pay your money up front. There is no guarantee of job placement at the end of the course. They do have a 14-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked, which made me feel secure in going ahead and trying this. It was $200 for the entire course, and when you're done with the course, you get a CodeCademy certificate, and you get lifetime access to all of the learning materials that you used in that course. That is the course that really just changed my life. The pros for this course for me they had a set amount of activities and learning lessons and quizzes that you would take within that 1 week. It's called an intensive course because it's not lightweight. So if you're just planning to spend 2 hours a week on this, you probably won't do that well because it's a lot of material to cover and it's really meant to just be immersed in. That being said, it is something that you can do if you have a full-time job, if you put maybe 2 hours a day rather than 2 hours a week. So of course, me being a full-time student, I put in more than 2 hours every day. My goal was to finish the lessons as quickly as I could each week. If there was anything that I didn't understand or I needed a little more help with, there were tons of resources and I had tons of time. So I told myself that I have no excuse not to get it done. You're also invited to a Slack group. So whatever activities you're working on for that week, you know that there's X number of students also working on the same things and probably have the same questions as you do. It's not just you and your course mates, but it's also some of the instructors. So a lot of times you will get answers directly from the people who set up and designed these courses. Within the hour, I would usually get a response and they'd say, "Oh, you're missing a semicolon." Story of my life. So to have that direct sense of whenever you need help, someone's there, that just made me feel so much more secure. Throughout the entirety of the course, I'd say there were either 3 or 4 major projects that when we completed them, our code would actually get reviewed by professional, experienced developers working in the field right now. They were volunteering their time to help other students learn. That was such an invaluable thing in my eyes because of course you can write your code and see the web page appear and that's how you know it works. But these professional developers, they took the time to really go through your lines and they would help you understand things like syntax usage, naming conventions, the basic layout of your code. They would also give reminders to add comments. And that is something that I would have never thought about prior, and I would have never thought to look up, research, or ask. But I'm so glad that they told me, because when you go to work on someone else's code, if you can't read it, you can't fix it. And vice versa. If someone else can't read your code, they can't fix it, they can't work with it. And it's gonna make it harder for someone to work with you professionally if, every time they get something from you, it holds them back a little bit. So that is a major thing that I really, really appreciated. Throughout the course, when we were assigned projects, they would provide us with a Photoshop document that was marked up with the specs, like font size, font spacing, font family, colors that they were using, everything, widths, heights, all the dimensions, and so that we had the information that we needed to build the site. And this is when I really realized that designers and developers are two different people. And that helped me career-wise, because the job that I'm in now, we actually receive artwork from the design team, and then we have to move forward and make our final product match what was given to us. And so there are so many lessons that I learned through CodeCademy that helped me not just learn code, but how to be a valued member of a development team professionally. And that's what I did this for. I didn't do this just to learn code. I did this so that I could change my career. When the course was complete, I took all of the projects that we had been working on and I uploaded them to my own personal website that I made my portfolio. I put contact information and a little about me section, and then my portfolio is complete with the 5 or 6 pages that we had built through the course. Because once you make them, they are yours. Of course, you can't claim the design portion of it, but you can claim the development portion because you did code those from scratch. So it definitely shows off the talents that you have. In April, I tried YouTube, W3 Schools, and Treehouse, In May, I started the CodeCademy Pro Intensive course, and that went through June and July. Then in August, well, late July into August, I started applying for jobs. When I finished this course, I felt prepared to do this professionally. My $200 investment more than paid off. In August, I got a job offer and I started in September. I'm very excited. Just 3 months and my life has completely changed. I started off the year unfulfilled, unhappy in a job that I knew I didn't want to be in, but I was doing it just because I need some money. And at the end of the year, I was in a job that I loved, making market salary, which was twice what I was making at the beginning of the year. Twice. I doubled my salary within 3 months. It still blows my mind, and I still feel like I was a little crazy to have done that and taken such a huge risk, but anything worth the prize is worth the risk, and this definitely by far was one of the hardest and most rewarding decisions that I've ever made. And I really hope that I can encourage other people to just try it out. You don't have to quit your job. I mean, that was really drastic on my part, I know. You just have to be committed, and you have to be willing to put in that extra time. You have to be really dedicated, and you have to just get it done. If you have the type of personality where you can just get it done, put a little investment towards yourself and do it. If you really think this is something that you want to do it. There's fireworks going on. 4th of July. What you gonna do? This is 22 minutes. Yikes, I'm gonna have to cut this down. I just rambled a lot.